Morning. I didn't really want to do this video, but I'm finding it really hard to distract myself and stay strong and kind of get closure from it. If you can hear any noises, my dog's over there. She's looking out the window. So yesterday I had to take my eldest dog to the vets. She was struggling. She was 12 and a half and her back legs had gone. When she was 5, she had, no, not when she was 5, 5 years ago, we had her operated on and she had a plate in her leg and pins, and they told me that she would last another year. So we were prepared for that. But she lasted another 5 and I was so proud of her. She was really, really brave. And so yesterday I took her to work with me, because if you've seen my other videos, you know I work at a doggy daycare centre. I took her to work with me to kind of monitor how she was, because she'd started pulling her fur out. All of her back leg and her tummy, she'd pulled all the hair off, and I didn't know if she was irritated or what, but I was monitoring her and she couldn't stand up. Like, I had to lift her off of the ground a couple of times to get her up, and I just saw suffering and I couldn't do that to her. I've seen so many dogs suffer, and I've seen owners hold on to things for the sake of themselves, and I couldn't do that. So I spoke to my boss and we collectively agreed that she needed to go and be seen to, whether they would give us other options or not. I just saw pain and I saw pain and I couldn't put her through it. So I made an appointment for 6:30, and before that it was just like loads of cuddles, and she was so gorgeous. And I just gave her so much attention and cheese, because she loved cheese. And my mum couldn't come. She was so upset, and I said to her, if you can't do it, don't do it. Like, if you want to just remember the good times, then do that. So she took Belle out, my youngest, she took her out for a walk, and me and my dad put Ivy in the car. And I got her so excited. She couldn't get up off the floor, and I helped her, and I was like, come on, let's go on an adventure. And I got her out of the house. Like, she had no idea. She had no idea that she wasn't gonna see the house again. And she was so happy, and the thing about her is physically she couldn't do it, but she wanted to. And I got her, me and Dad lifted her in the back of the car, and as we lifted her she just made these noises, and I knew she was in pain and I couldn't carry on. It gave me more reassurance that my decision was right. And we drove her to the vets, and my boyfriend met us there, and I was so strong, and I stood there with her and I was making a fuss of her. And usually at the vets she's so on edge and she's so excitable and she's running around, and she just was so calm. I feel like she knew, and she just laid down in the car park, because we said, Dad went in and said to the vet, can you just come out and get us when you need us? So I sat in the car park with her, with my dad and my boyfriend, and Om was crying and Dad was tearing up, and I couldn't do it to her. I had to be strong for her. And the vet came out the side door so that we didn't have to go through reception, because it was clear that we were all really distressed about it. So we went in, and she was so lovely, the vet, and she said to me, you can give her injections every single week. And I just thought, how can I put her through that for the sake of me? I feel like she had such a good life and she was ready to go. And come on, Leanne. My youngest kind of sensed it. Like, before we left, she kind of went up to Ivy and gave her a big kiss, and she just walked out like it was okay. And it was like she'd said to her, it's okay to go, you know, we've had a good time and it is okay. And I was so proud of the both of them. So we were in with the vets and she said about these injections, and I said, I can't do that. It's not about money, it's not about anything like that. It's the fact that I'm putting my dog through stress that she probably doesn't even want. And what's the point in that? Just for an extra, like, 2 weeks of being with her. Like, she didn't need that. And it was so hard. The guys couldn't talk. And I sat there and I said to her, she's too old. Like, I can't. I just need to make that decision. And it was probably, no, it was the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. It was so difficult, but I knew that I'd done it for her. And the vet came back with this nice duvet for her, and it was like, and a purple blanket, and I said, come on, Ives. And she sat on the edge of it, and then when I went to stroke her, she just rolled. She rolled off of it, and the vet went, do you not want it then? And she was just so beautiful, my dog. She just looked up at me, like, with these eyes that just looked so thankful. And a couple of months ago, we've got a step leading up from our kitchen into the rest of the house, and I heard a bang one day, and I went out there, and her back legs had gone and her front paws were on the step, and she just looked at me like she just needed my help. And they were the same eyes that I had at the vets, but it was more like a thank you. It was more like, this is what I wanted. Thank you for realising that. So the vet came back with another vet, a nurse thing, I don't know what they're called, just to like hold her, because obviously being a big dog it was quite difficult. And we all sat there and she rested her face on my hand and I was stroking her, and and Dad was stroking her too, you know, keep her calm, and she just thought she was having a fuss made of her. And then the nurse started doing it, and I was watching Ivy's face, and she went through no pain. And I felt like, I'm glad I'd done it now, with no pain, rather than her going through more pain just for the sake of me. And she looked at me the whole time, and I felt her just go, and she kept her face on my hand, and I kept stroking her, and the nurse opened her eyes and she was looking right at me, and it was like I was the last person that she saw, and I felt like I owed her that. For months I've been trying so hard with remedies to try and get her back to like normal, and it was the right time. I felt yesterday that I'd come to a decision of, this is it, I can't do it anymore. And she went in the most peaceful way, and we were all crying and it was really sad. But just before she went, I told her how brave she was, and I told her that she was going to be alright, and she was going to go and play with all of her friends, and it was great. And I told her how much we loved her, and how proud of her I was. But it was the most peaceful thing I have ever seen, and I was so glad that I was there with her, keeping her calm and making sure she wasn't scared. And I feel like sometimes you have to make these decisions for the sake of your dog. You know, you can't, I could have kept her here for 3 months more, but for me, and that wasn't fair, she was in pain. And I left her there. And I walked out that door and I just broke down. Like, I felt really strong in there, but when I left, that was it. I'd just gone, and I actually haven't stopped crying, and it's the next morning. But I walked in the front door, holding her lead and her collar, and Belle came right up and just took Ivy's lead out of my hand and just went to the front door trying to see if she was there. And then when she saw she wasn't, she just come back to me, and I took the lead off of her, and she just like sat looking at us all because she knew. And it's heartbreaking, and I can't explain to Belle that Ivy went so peacefully. I literally felt her go, and it was so beautiful. But I'm in this predicament now where I came home and I felt guilty, and I felt like it was my decision, and my whole family had collectively agreed to it, but I was the one that said it, and it's so difficult knowing that I'd done that, and you can't help but have regrets. But then I think that I've done it for a reason, and I know she loved me, and she loved my friends, she loved my family. She had a great life. But it doesn't hide the fact that you're gonna grieve, and you're gonna grieve hard. Like, it hurts so bad. It's like losing a family member. She's been with me for over half of my life. I was 8 when we got her, and I'm 20 now. And it's just hard to let go, and I feel like she's with me, and I feel like I'm gonna be okay. I just worry about Belle and how she's gonna be, but we'll work that out. You know, she's got attachment issues anyway. Like, but now I'm spending all day with her, and my boyfriend's here all weekend to be with her because he's on call, and I might take her to work with me. Like, I just feel so bad for her. And I was in bed last night just waiting to hear Ivy, because she used to breathe really heavily. Like, you know, when they're panting because of the heat. And I used to tell her to shush when it was like, when I was trying to sleep, and say I was downstairs and she was, I was like, Ivy, shush. And now I can't do that, but oh God, she has so many memories. She was my childhood. And I can't thank people enough for their comments. Like, I'm part of the Golden Retrievers group on Facebook, and they changed their header picture to her, and I had over 130 comments about how people felt sorry, and things like that mean so much. Like, people sent me poems, and the minute somebody told me that I'd done the right thing, I felt so much better, and I felt like she probably appreciated it. And I can't thank that group enough, because they have really helped me and my family kind of feel okay with it. And I've had Facebook messages from friends, and just one little comment helps to mend that broken heart. And I know it's going to take time. I'm probably going to have loads of these meltdowns today. But I know next week I'll be okay, or in a couple of days I'll be okay. And I've got to focus on Belle and making sure she's alright, and it's just very hard. It's hard when you come home and there's one less thing in the house. But yeah, I just needed to make this video just to like share my story and hope that other people think about it. And yeah, but she was so loved, and she will be so dearly missed. But thank you to everyone that has shared your thoughts and sent your love. It honestly means so much to me and my family. We read every single comment and we appreciate everything. So thank you so much. Thank you.